All right, welcome everybody to Phlox'em YouTube channel. This is a Keyforge channel primarily. We'll see if we dive into any SoulForge Fusion, as that is basically released this week to Kickstarters. But my name is Aaron, or Orion0497 if you've seen me around on Crucible or Discord or things like that. I've done some of the events like ABR and Swindle Team events and stuff. Shout out to all those guys. There's so many people doing so much good stuff for Keyforge, and I'm trying to see if I can help contribute to that. The way this channel started, or the way I decided I wanted to do a channel like this, is when the first Vault Warrior, held by Jolker, went off. I remember that first Saturday, kind of the very first day of the very first one. I wasn't in it because I just don't always get to do the competitive stuff. Don't necessarily have time or caliber of decks, but I remember like just watching on Discord the countdown and all this stuff and all the hype and everything, and then I sat down to like watch on Twitch or whatever, and there was just nothing. And that's nothing against Joker or the players or anything. To play in a tournament like that, you definitely want to be like on your game and focusing and stuff. So I don't blame any of the players, and I don't blame any of the people running it, because it's also a big job to run something like that. Um, but it was still disappointing for me because I love watching, I love talking about Keyforge, I love kind of all the content that's being put out by people still. There's so many good channels out there, and I was just really sad that we weren't really getting to see some of this really high level play going. And so since I don't necessarily play at a super high level, I figured I could try to start being someone who talks about high level player, even kind of gets to cast some of these events like the Vault Warriors in the future. I definitely haven't planned anything yet. I'm just starting this out right now, but I would love to do that. I love diving in deep to, you know, strategy and plays and band tactics and all these kind of things. Like I could just talk about all of this stuff forever. It's just such a great game, and something I'm really, I don't know if passionate about is the right word, but I wanted to be part of the solution, not the problem, in terms of getting content out there for people to enjoy. So, um, one note about the name of the channel, I don't love that it is very similar to another saying that ends in mall. But since this is kind of an intro video to the channel, I wanted to just kind of throw this on here. So this is a card, Carpet Phlox'em. I don't know why I love this card so much. Well, I'm going to tell you why I love this card so much, but this one specifically has just always caught me. I love the catchphrase. I love the guy's face. He's just like so ready to, yeah, I don't know. It's just, there's so much energy in it, and just like crazy Martian dude just trying to blast stuff. But the reason I kind of have had this name on my mind for a long time is because of this deck. So this is my most winning deck in terms of like physical competitive play. And that's not an Archon, that's actually in Adaptive. So with this deck, I was able to win an Adaptive Prime 2.5 years ago or so. It's been a while. Uh, and it's just one of the most unique decks I've ever seen. It plays in a very unique way. And it was a very, very good adaptive deck because it's fairly predictable is not the right word. Kind of is. There's a lot of things I like about this in an adaptive deck. One, when I'm facing it, but also when I'm using it. And so on that day, I was actually able to, of the 8 rounds, I only went to chains 3 of the games. One of those is because I lost 2 in a row, but or no. Now I'd have to look back and see. But anyways, it did very well. I was able to go 2-0 with it multiple games, and I think that is more a testament to the deck than it is to my play. There was a lot of really good players there, and it was a really fun day overall, and so this one is kind of just burned to my memory. But you can see some themes in this deck as soon as you look at it. And the first is 2 Carpet Phlox'ems, 3 Phlox'em Spikes, 2 Orbital Bombardments, Sample Collection, and Mars Needs Amber. So 9 of the 12 Mars cards are essentially, well, 8 of them are creature removal, 1 of them is Amber control, and then there's 3 creatures. But 5 of those cards require that you don't have any creatures on your board, which is normally not good. But in a deck with only 13 creatures, most of which can actually be killed by an orbital bombardment, it just means the deck plays almost like a Quixelstone deck, or like even less creatures on board than a Quixelstone deck, where you're basically discarding several of your creatures. So like Grovekeeper, Marmoswarm, lots of these you're kind of just tossing if they're not giving you immediate benefit. Obviously the Ronnie Risk Locks, of which there are 3. Those are getting played most of the time, as well as Yanti Gang for some pressure, Tixel Beam Buckler to get that extra damage for Mars Needs Amber, Glimmer for the recursion, because we also have this Glimmer, Nature's Call, Nepenthe Seed, Gravid Cycle, like crazy recursion going on in here. But this is kind of, I don't know if it's my signature deck, but again, it's the deck that I've kind of done the most out in the world with. And it's very special to me, just one of the first AoA decks. I think it actually is the first AoA deck I opened. And it's just done really well, and it's very, very unique in my eyes, and playing it is just a completely different experience than almost any other deck I've played. So I wanted to name the channel kind of after this deck and the Phlox'em, and specifically, yeah, this card is kind of the signature of the deck, is that Phlox'em idea of no creatures on your side blowing up your opponent's side. And so that's what I wanted to name the channel after, so that's where I actually got it, not from the wordplay, but you're welcome to think what you want. And yeah, I'm hoping to also do some streams and stuff. It might just be recording until I figure out how to stream better, but I'm really excited to kind of get this going. And like I said, long term, I don't know how long it's going to take, because I also don't have a ton of time for doing this, but I would love to start doing some casting of events and different things like that, just to try and give Keyforge more of the coverage that it deserves, because it is still such a great game, and I want to, yeah, just try to be a part of pushing it out further and further.